Alright, what's up everybody? It's Rusty here with $30 Value Vintage, and I am bringing some content to you. Today we're going to be doing a simulated league. I'm going to be running with Cloudpost here, playing against a couple of my homies. Basically we'll be doing 3 rounds against different decks. They don't know what I'm playing, I don't know what they're playing, and I'm going to treat it like it's just a Magic Online league, so you can all consume content the way you do. I've been watching some Vintage Cube lately, so I guess it's got me wanting to make some content. I'm going to do a Decktech later, so I guess that'll be at the start of this video, so we're just going to jump into it. I am playing Cloudpost today. You should already know what's going on because I guess I recorded a Decktech. It has been a while since I've played this deck. We'll see if I follow my own advice and guidance regarding what is keepable and how you sequence. This hand doesn't have any access to a Cloudpost, which is kind of the worst thing about it. It does cycle 2 cards. It has easy green mana and Ancient Stirrings. I actually think this might be a mulligan if I knew he was like disruptive, but I'm going to keep it. I do think you are supposed to mulligan kind of aggressively to have access to Cloudpost or Crop Rotation. Oh, look at that. He's got nice stuff. But I think there's enough cycling here that we should be okay. So we'd really like to have access to a Cloudpost next turn. This gives us 5 looks right now, and then next turn we couldn't crack a sphere, but if I play a star now, and then next turn crack star for green and play Ancient Stirrings, I actually get 1 more look at Cloudpost. There's no way for me to play a Cloudpost as my land drop for the turn. I believe this enters untapped. I do not control 2 or more other lands, so it enters untapped. So my first inclination was to do the Stirrings first, but we're actually going to Sphere first, because it gives us 1 additional look to make our land drop Cloudpost next turn. 1 additional note, I'm not much of a Magic Online gamer. I will probably make some Magic Online related mistake, like F6 in my turn. That's interesting. That's fine. Trench Post is close. Again, we don't want to play the Trench Post, we really want to play Cloudpost, so let's get some green mana here. Looks like we have a little bit of Moto lag. I think Moto's been a little choppy lately. I remember when I was watching the Cube for Charity Trophy Race thing, they had some issues. But it's really bad, maybe we'll scrap it. Okay, I got a 7-drop, not ideal. Let's find a Cloudpost. Glimmer Post is close. I don't think there's any justification for Golos, although we do explore into it. So we're going to go to 2 mana. Next turn we'll play land, go to 3, explore to 4, and 5. But I only have 1 guaranteed land drop. I'm going to take the Glimmer Post. He seems to be some kind of aggressive, disruptive deck. So I'm going to grab this. I don't care what order they go in. I want to get the most life off the Glimmer Post, so we're going to go Trench Post into Star. I will say, this deck looks way different when you have a Cloudpost on turn 1 versus when you don't. I think he's probably going to apply some pressure here. He is a Lurrus companion. I guess I probably had that data earlier, but oh well. Okay. So this is a good match for Gigantha. Because a lot of the times you can't get where you really want to be going. Well, we want to make a land drop this turn. So let's go green through the Trench Post. Forest. And I think the Forest is what we're going to sacrifice to the Crop Rotation. We'll do that in response to a discard spell. But one thing you'll notice against these disruptive, aggressive decks is that Gigantha really proves his worth here. Oh, that's interesting. It's a 2-1 for 1. I like that. It meets the Lurrus restrictions and is a mana sink. But in these low resource games, it's kind of hard to cast your Battle Balls sometimes. We may just get to hard cast Gigantha mana and try to stop the bleeding a little bit with that. We are going to get a Cloudpost. So now we've got 2, 3, 4 mana. So one more mana source, and we can actually cast a Jeggy. Let's see. So it's Sylvan Scrying for Cloudpost. Play Cloudpost by Gigantha is pretty easy. Second Cloudpost opens up a lot of doors for us. Buy this. Buy this. See, and look at that. We got all that disruption against us, and we're still on track to slam a Battle Ball on turn 5. That's kind of good. If he just activates it here, we're going to take some damage. The good news is he's probably not disrupting Mog War Marshals? Huh. I mean, it is a lot of bodies. So depending on the exact configuration, that could make sense. 3, 6, 7, 8 mana. We have green right now. I think making a land drop would be nice. Let's do this. That's fine. There's no reason to hold the land against the Hymn to Turok deck. We're going to be hellbent. And the game's not literally over, but in game 1 it just got really hard for him. I do think this is a pretty good matchup for us overall. We can usually go through their disruption and get a couple Cloudposts online because the cards we really care about are lands, and a lot of the times you can do it without any spells with like Thespian Stage. And they don't have that much of a clock. Glimmer Posts can actually offset a lot of their early damage. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Huh. So, with Chthonian Nightmare Mog War Marshal, 2 mana gets back the Mog War Marshal. So you get 2 guys, you sack 1 to a bombardment, you get your 2 tokens, you get it back. So 2 mana equals 2 damage. So we gotta close this out pretty soon. Okay, that solved all of our problems. So we want to Golos and Gigantha this turn if possible. Golos is always going to be 5, so we're going to have to tap a Cloudpost first. We're going to get Glimmer Post here to save some life, I think. No, that's not true. We're going to get Crystal Quarry and try to spin Golos, I think. 3, 4, 5. Leaves us with 4 mana. If I get a Glimmer Post, I can deploy the Gigantha. 3, 4, 5. Get a Glimmer Post tapped, but then you make 5 mana here. So we're kind of on a clock based on this. But it's also going to be hard to connect with any critters on the ground. 2, 4, 5. I don't think he has a... Can he shoot down my Golos? Chthonian Knight... Oh, he doesn't actually have access to the Mog War Marshals. What am I talking about? Okay. Okay. Well, if that's the case, I'm going to assume my Golos will survive to spin. It's a little bit risky. He could interact here. We can't take another hit from the Kellen, but we do have to pressure him some. So I think what we're going to do is... I actually don't want that always yield on. If he kills Golos... So if he has like terminate creature, I just cannot get hit by that Kellen. Now if he has terminate Mog War Marshal... Make sure... Getting hit by this against the active Goblin Bombardment Chthonian Nightmare would be really, really bad. Soul Guide is fine. I suspect he'll cantrip it. Gotta activate. Gotta get the Golos off. And the reason we went for this instead of like Glimmer Post is because the chances of us finding a Glimmer Post off of this is pretty high. Like we could hit like Golos crop rotation or like Sylvan Scrying crop rotation. So chances are good this spin is going to gain us 4 life. Or it might just give us enough pressure that we can close out the game. Not this upcoming turn, but on the following. We're not going to be doing much trench posting this matchup. It's very useful in quite a lot of matchups, but this is not one of them. It's a good thing those Mog War Marshals are just there. Block. That makes... Is he not going to die here? So this is going to crack for 10 plus Golos. This is lethal. Okay. Ah, that makes sense. I do think he might regret not clearing my Golos here because I got Crystal Quarry. There's a Glimmer Post. So let's do... Maybe I play the Glimmer Post first because it's extra mana. Let's do that. We're not trenching this game. So we'll make Wooburg. I don't want to tap this Cloudpost yet. Spin. So we can't play that, but what we can do is get another Golos. So we're going to be able to play Gigantha, play Golos, get a Glimmer Post. I don't see any world where he's going to have 2 removal spells. This is going to get us a Glimmer Post just to be safe, I think. I just think if we get a Glimmer Post here, there's no reasonable way that we die. And since he's not going to board wipe me, this is going to apply probably not a lethal amount of pressure. Because on board we do have him. If he rips land here, he will die. And that's probably what happened. Okay. Alright, so sideboarding against Lurrus. I don't like Ravenous Trap. This is more for unfair graveyard decks. This is what I would consider a fair graveyard deck. The game is going to go on for 10 turns, so Ravenous Trap is not particularly good. They also don't play Faithless Lootings. I think any of these cards are reasonable. The O-Stone for sure, because he's so enchantment-based, like with the Chthonian Nightmares and stuff. I would almost rather fight him on that axis, because O-Stone's going to blow up Lurrus and Chthonian Nightmare and Goblin Bombardment, which are the cards I'm really scared of. I don't think you would be wrong to bring these in. Like, you could do any combination of these. Skew's a little bit vulnerable to their removal, whereas we're pretty insulated right now. I think we just have such a good matchup already. I am going to leave the Battlesphere over the Endbringer, because Battlesphere is going to be pretty good against a Terminate or a Invasion of Asgol, whereas Endbringer is a little bit soft to terminate. And he is going to try to disrupt my mana. I don't suspect he's going to have like Damping Spheres or Blood Suns, but I think I'm going to do that. If he extirpates my Mere Battlespheres, which is possible, then we'll just win with Dark Depths. So I don't really care about that. There are some matchups where you don't want to go down to like 1 threat, which is why sometimes I play a 3-fold Thunder Hulk as well. But I think in this case it's okay to be a little bit singleton on our threats. This hand is good. I'm not going to explain why this hand is good. We don't currently have green mana, which could be an issue. But if we draw a single star or sphere, we're going to be in business here. If we are on the draw, Just for reference, so here's the list. So right now we're drawing towards 7 stars and spheres. Golos, Battle Ball, Green Source, which we have a few of. That's cool. That'll get cleaned up by an O-Stone. I'm not particularly worried about that. And the chip damage doesn't mean much from our Glimmerpost deck. Alright, we're gonna chill. Someday we'll have the right colors of mana. I do think that this deck is a colorless deck splashing green. I don't think I care about that. We have a million mana. We want to hold on to the Glimmerpost as long as possible. These are all uncastable. I could buy Gigantha, but I would just have to discard a card. And right now I have 9 mana, so if I get a green source, I can play and buy Gigantha just to get some breathing room. Which I would potentially do that before casting Explorers, just to stop whatever chip damage he has from creatures. He bought Lurrus, so not an extremely good draw from him. It only takes 30 mana to do this. So we have 9 this turn, and then we play Glimmerpost, and we have 12. So we're 3 turns away. If I play this and then this, then I have 15 and 15. We might need the Glimmerpost life to survive. I think we're going to hold on the Dark Depths. But next turn we have 12 if we play it. And then if I play Glimmerpost, do we have 18? I don't think so. I do think that Dark Depths will mostly win this matchup. We could play the Dark Depths in hopes that we rip a stage. That would be reasonable. So he did some damage, but we're going to just largely erase it. I will say if he was a slightly more aggressive deck, we would be in a little bit of trouble here. I will not be trench posting him, by the way. I do think that this is probably one of the preferred matchups for Cloudpost. He just doesn't have a clock. So, like, I've not cast a spell this game. I have currently above 20 life. I'm not really in danger of going below 20 life. Kroxa. So, what cards are the best? Explorers are going to be kind of slow, but I don't see myself needing more than 1 Sylvan Scry in this game. That's fine. So if I play Dark Depths here, I have 5, 10, 15 mana. So it's a 2-turn Dark Depths, or if I wait a turn, then I have 6, 12, 18 mana. So we're going to Dark Depths and start doing it the hard way. 5, 10, 15, 16. So we're going to peel 5 counters, and we're going to peel 5 more counters. Can we win this game without casting a spell? That's fine. So he can loop the Kroxa twice a turn, but luckily we've got all these spells in our hand that we're not casting. I will probably buy a Gigantha next turn, just to have an additional card to pitch. That's fine. Yep. Alright, maybe this matchup's pretty good. Maybe I will not cast a spell this game. I'm allowed to talk to him like that because he's my homie. Okay. Okay. 6, 12, 18 with 21 mana. We're going to put 15 in here so we have 6 to go crazy with. I think we Golos above anything else. We do... Do you have to spend this mana on Dark Depthsing now? 6, 12, 15. So we can burn this mana. Oh, we can also get a Glimmer Post and then we have more mana. I could get green mana here. That's not crazy. Crystal Quarry's green mana. Yeah, best of both worlds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 12, 15. Okay. We can burn this mana. I am not going to make the 2020 at sorcery speed to block, because he's not going to lethal me here. And he could play something psychotic like Rough Tumble, which bounces a creature. So we're just going to do it on his end step. And unless he finds a way to gain life, it should get the job done. Yeah, so I will say this is probably one of the better matchups. If he was a little bit more aggressive, it'd be a little bit tougher. When you're playing Cloudpost, you really don't want to see non-graveyard combo decks. Like High Tide is a nightmare. I don't mind graveyard combo decks. Yeah, that's fine. Graveyard combo decks don't bother me as much because we can crop rotate for Pit of Offerings, which is a cheaper Bajuka Bog. We also have Rav Traps and Scoozes and stuff. So I feel like I can beat combo graveyard decks, but I can't beat like combo storm decks very well. Yep. I just don't want to pass through the end step. Okay. So I suspect this is going to get the job done. Yep. Cool. I'm going to stop the recording and start it in a minute. Alright, everybody, we're going into round 2 of this fake Moto League. We beat Red-Black Lurrus in round 1. I gotta be honest, it was not too difficult. It is a pretty good matchup for us. Okay, this hand, if you remember our keep in game 2 of last match, this is similar, except it has green mana and Golos. Having Cloudpost and 2 other Locuses is really, really good, because that means that on turn 3 we'll have 5 mana, 3 of it off the Cloudpost and 2 of it off the untapped Locus. So we're going to have a turn 3 Golos, which is going to accelerate us into the mid to end game pretty well. This is a good reason why Trench Post is so good. The mill ability does come up against certain matchups, like Bant Reclamation, which I think is what we're playing against. Now, I could play Forest, crop rotate Forest for Cloudpost, but it doesn't feel to me like I need an additional Cloudpost, and these Trench Posts are actually going to be really good. I would then not have green mana. So having 1 Cloudpost until we ideally resolve Golos should be fine. I'm not going to buy Gigantha here because I don't want to discard a card. I believe this is a Bant Reclamation control deck. And double crop rotation does sort of let me put together a 2020 eventually, but this is not a deck you want to make a 2020 against. So here, we're just going to check to see if he has interaction. If he doesn't, there's really high upside. Okay. So a lot of the times I would get second Cloudpost, but because I have no castables in my hand, my options are Dark Depths start paying for it, but that's not serious. Crystal Quarry is interesting because it is a green source. Although you do spend some mana. It could let me double spell next turn, like Ancient Stirrings into something. I think what we're going to do is just get thrown to the High City and become the Monarch next turn. There's a really good card in this matchup specifically. Yeah, Cycle of Landscape. Not the strongest start from him. No Growth Spirals. Apparently no Loose Focus. Maybe he has Counterspell and just didn't have double blue. But a Loose Focus would have gotten me there. He doesn't have to clear this Golos. Because I didn't get a Crystal Quarry. So if he has a Swords to Plowshares, he can save it. Right now I have 3, 4, 5. So I'll have 1 floating after that. I think I want to cast an Ancient Stirrings and take the Monarchy. Probably. Now, I could play Forest and Crop Rotate, and if it goes through, I could get Crystal Quarry and then not have enough to spin it, because it's too many manas. Now, Nightmare's scenario here is that he has, like, a Shark Typhoon to cycle, and I take... Ugh. So, like, if I take Monarchy, and then he cycles a Shark Typhoon, and then takes it back and swords as my Golos, that's pretty awful for me. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't play Gigantha this turn. If I could, I probably would consider it. I just don't think he has a Shark Typhoon in his hand. I don't know that he even plays them in his list. Interesting. So I could take Crystal Quarry. It's uncounterable. I'm going to take second... I'm going to take second Golos, and I'm going to plan to Crop Rotate into the Crystal Quarry, I think. Introducing the Monarch to the game is always a little bit scary. We got the trigger. Is he going to not spend his mana this turn? Okay. That's fine. We can both have a little card advantage as a treat. I'll go a little bigger here. So I do think this is a good matchup. It's going to look pretty rough, especially if he lands a Wilderness Wreck here. But what we're going to find is that we're going to play a really long game, and then I'm going to Trench Post him to death. While simultaneously threatening pressure with, like, Golos and some other stuff. If I actually kind of want more mana. Am I interested in Crop Rotating for a Cloudpost? I weirdly kind of am. Now, we actually may not be able to mill him out because he might be on Blessed Respites. And here, if he taps out, I'm going to Crop Rotate. Forest. If he taps out here, I may not have to go to discard. Yeah. Look at that. It's not card disadvantage. And I just want another Cloudpost. It may look like I have a lot of mana, but I'm trying to set up for a turn where I can cast like Mere Battlesphere plus Gigantha in the same turn, which right now I'm going to untap with 10, 11, 12, 13 mana. He's also going to have a lot of mana, though. That's fine. So the worst thing about this game is that he has this study, believe it or not. Because if he didn't have that study, there would be a chance for him to run out of card advantage. But every time he Wilderness Recs, he's going to be able to make 2, 4, 5 mana. Interesting. So he's trying to take the Monarchy from me. So we're through both his unsteps. He has 2, 4, 5 mana. I think what's going to happen here is I'm going to cast Golos and Battle Ball, and he's not going to be able to counter both of them. So we're going to go 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 mana. So we'll have 12 up after this. So I can actually Ancient Stirrings as well. Golos is scarier in the long term. And if he counters Golos, he won't also be able to make another dude. So let's Golos. Okay. I kind of want to get a Blast Zone and start working up to getting rid of his Wilderness Recs. That's reasonable. Now here we do run the risk of running into a loose focus, which is something we could play around. Like there's not really a reason to ever get loose focused here, but we are kind of doing like a tempo thing. Interesting. So I wonder if he already has the answer. That feels kind of bad. I'm surprised he's not bouncing the Golos. I wonder if he already has the answer for the Monarchy. 5 posts. I kind of want to Ancient Stirrings later. So I could force through my Crop Rotation. Crop Rotation for Thespian stage is never bad. I suspect he's going to clear the Golos here and take Monarchy from me, which is unfortunate. Interesting. So we know we're not going to Crop Rotate for that, which is kind of good. There's almost no way the Golos stays in play here. Yes, that makes sense. Okay. This could be bad. The Monarch could betray us here. It feels like I made some missteps here, but I couldn't tell you exactly what they were. So this is a problem. He does have a lot of mana, and he's going to have a lot of cards. Does he have a Sphinx's Rev? Yeah, I don't know what Servo's exact list looks like. If he's not on Blessed Respites, things will be okay. But I'm pretty sure he is. Capsize. Oh, watch this. Fizzle it, and it's not even counterable. Capsize is pretty scary. And we don't care if he counters the Crop Rotation. We just got the Capsize out of his hand, which is good because that was going to doom us. Pretty cool to be able to do that, because now it doesn't have a legal target, so it will fizzle. I don't believe that we're going to be able to Dark Depths him. Maybe I'll try to hit him with a... No, it's not going to work well. Huh. We'll go to stage. It is too bad I had to sacrifice a trench post, but I've got more stages in my deck that can become them if it becomes that kind of game. Oh. Okay, but that's not going to work out. No, because he'll be able to draw that. That was smooth. I was thinking I'd be able to trench post it off the top, but he is going to actually make a... Did he have a draw trigger? Okay. I don't think that's the one he should be bouncing. I feel like he should have bounced a Cloudpost, because now I can just play the trench post and still have a lot of mana. He doesn't have much mana. I think we just have to try a Battle Ball here. 4. I think we have to burn a mana here. Now, he probably has a board wipe for this, which is unfortunate. So he may let it go and then board wipe me. Probably what's happening. Star. Alright, we'll start looking at this game plan. Do we buy the Gigantha? Right now we have Trench Post activation, Thespian Stage, or put Blast Zone up to 2 available. I could put Blast Zone up to 3, but I think what we're going to do is I'm actually going to go Thespian Stage, copy Blast Zone. Then next turn I'll take Blast Zone up to 4. Try to get his Wilderness Rex off the battlefield. And if I can get his Wilderness Rex off the battlefield, maybe we can leverage a mana advantage. We still have Gigantha. We have some stuff going for us. Colonnade will be untapped. I kind of think he needs the Sorcery Speed board wipe here, which might give us a card depending on what he's playing. It will not give us a card. That's fine. Oh, he has a Capsize in his hand. Are we beating a Capsize from this position? No? Yeah, I think no is the answer. Because he can double Capsize my posts right now. I think he might just have us. Capsize is 6 with buyback. Bounce, bounce. So now we have to fight for mana, which is unfortunate. Bounce here. But he can just get all my posts. I think we'll die on this one. Yikes. Capsize is rough in that. So the main thing that changes here is we get 1 additional O-Stone because it clears up a lot of his stuff. I don't think we need to go quite that fast so we can get rid of an Explorer. And if he didn't have Blessed Respite's main, he definitely does now. Actually, ooh. I wonder if I should be playing. Is it going to come to trench posting him? Not on the play, I think. Yeah, I felt a lot better about this matchup before Capsize got brought in. I will say, I think the card's like $2.50, so it's not a small investment. So here, okay, we have tapped Cloudpost through crop rotation, and then we have 2 untapped Locusts, so we have a turn 3 Golos. We are going to have these Ancient Stirrings rot for a little bit, but I think it's more important to get out under him if possible. So, we're actually going to do crop rotation on my turn 1. because getting it spell pierced would be game ending, so we're not going to let that happen. Boink. Now, I felt really smart for that Cloudpost. That crop rotation to attempt to fizzle his capsize made me feel really smart. And then the rest of his deck made me feel really not smart. That's a good draw. It's not going to help us have green mana. But it means that we're not going to want to get a second Cloudpost off our Golos, which makes me feel pretty good about a Crystal Quarry get, assuming it resolves. Because... Nice, that's a good pickup. Crystal Quarry is simultaneously green mana and requires an answer for this Golos. He can't have loose focus here, so it'll be memory lapse. That makes sense. I can't spend the mana on anything, so... The good news is, next turn we're gonna have 10 mana, so we can Golos through a loose focus, and then we can stick an O-Stone if the Golos gets countered, which is gonna hurt his ability to Wilderness Wreck us. Which I think is pretty important. So he could have another memory lapse. But let's just stick this. Let's go. I feel like that resolved fast enough that he probably doesn't have anything. We are going to get Crystal Quarry because, like I said, it's a green source that also demands an answer for our Golos. And then I think this card is just good against him, so let's hope that he doesn't have anything and stick it. Okay. So a lot of their advantage is permanent based, really largely in the Wilderness Wrecks. Sometimes they have a couple Planeswalkers, like 4-mana Tameo, the blue-green one. That's fine. He had to do that because of this Crystal Quarry. And next turn, we'll put... basically, we're gonna go down a mana, filtering through Crystal Quarry, and we're gonna end up with a green and 4 of what is essentially colorless. But it's gonna let us cast our Ancient Stirrings into another threat. 10. So we'll get 5. We'll have 5 floating. So we'll have colorless, or we'll have green, and we'll have 9 additional mana after that. So any of our threats are going to be castable. And we could Golos and then buy Giganta, potentially, if we find a Golos off the Stirrings. Star is good, too. That's another look. We're going to Quarry first, I believe. If I start into a post, would I play it? I think this is fine. Would he fight over the Stirrings? Maybe. Battle Ball. Yes. Any order. 8. Let's go here. And I don't know that I want to play the Stirrings right now, because I don't necessarily know what I'm looking for. Like, I could be a little bit more mana efficient with this star. Maybe it was greedy. He could have another loose focus up. I'm not going to jam the Stirrings into it. That's alright. Assuming he doesn't have Wreck plus a card advantage engine, I think we're still going to be able to muscle through this, theoretically. So we don't want to see Wilderness Wreck here. Uro doesn't super matter. I will say I didn't really bring in Graveyard Hate. Maybe that's a mistake if I think it's going to come to milling, and I think I need a Soul Guide Lantern to fight him on that. I don't know, though. So he could have hard Counterspell up. I don't think his mana base really supports it. He's probably got a Memory Lapse here. So what we're going to do is Endbringer... And And I guess I actually don't have mana to do it again if... Okay. 4, 5. Let's go ahead and... This is fine. I could buy Gigantha. Stirrings, I think. Because then we'll have mana for Gigantha plus Battle Ball next turn. And if he has to use a board wipe on this Endbringer, like he has a depopulate and doesn't have a Swords to Plowshares, that's going to be really good for us. If he has exactly Swords to Plowshares here, then he gets to answer the Endbringer. But untapping with Endbringer is really good for us, of course. Which it seems to be that's what's happening. So now I can either attack or I can draw cards. He may not have any board wipe. So here's what we're going to do. 8, 10, 11. We have 12 mana to work with. We're not casting the Battle Ball into a board wipe. And I think we want to get 2 cards off this. So I'm going to cast the Gigantha this turn. And this is why I like Gigantha. It's going to add pressure without costing me a card. It's like pretty non-committal. So Golos we're going to save because we want to have the mana to play it and activate it, which will come up eventually. This. And then we're going to start putting... probably should have sequenced a little differently. Alright, so now we're going to start putting some fate counters on our cards. That way we're a little bit insulated if he plays something we need to blow up. Yep. That's not true. We're probably going to just draw a card off this. Yeah, we're going to just draw a card. 4, 8, 10, 11. We untap with him. So, I mean, this is 10 power. He theoretically needs to interact with this. If he is able. And he doesn't have Swords to Plowshares because he wouldn't let me keep drawing cards if he did. He also doesn't have a board wipe because he would not want to take 10, I suspect. I don't know what this means. If you have a Swords to Plowshares, I suspect you should cast it. Capsize? Okay. Sure, take some pressure off. I don't dislike that play. Okay, so 4, 8, 10, 11, 12 mana. Can I play a Thespian Stage, copy a Cloudpost, and redeploy 2 threats? So Thespian Stage, copy. Then we would have 5, so 5, 10, 12. Which spheres down a mana, so 11, so we have exactly enough. So this is something you're going to want to look out for if you play the deck, is figuring out how to get a stage into a Cloudpost while deploying threats so that you have more Cloudposts the next turn. Oh, but what if I want to do Battle Ball Gigantha? Is that not possible? 5, 10, 12. I could do Battle Ball Golos, but then I don't have Golos. If he has nothing, Battle Ball is pretty good damage. Okay. So Battlesphere and Golos are my best threats. So I think putting them on the battlefield together is probably bad. Cool. We'll have even more mana next turn. So we have 9, 10, 11, and that's exactly what these cost. Got it. He could have a lose focus. He could also have, okay. I need to pick up my pace of play or I'm going to get a draw, and by a draw I mean a loss on Moto. If we're going to a game 3, it's starting to look a little rough. Field of Ruin, okay. He is scared of Trench Post. Does that mean he's not on Blessed Respites? Interesting if true. And he's not scared of my mana, or he doesn't think he can keep me off my mana, which is kind of accurate. Sure, that's not going to get to attack. Alright, we have pretty good answers to this, I think. Don't block. I got shooters everywhere. Okay, so right now I have 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15 mana. I put, let's say I have 14 mana, I go down to 9. I don't think I can go this. If I play a Cloudpost, I have 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. Golos puts me to 13, and then I can spend. Are we sure I can't play Golos and spend? 4, 8, 12. 13, 14, 15. Let's call it 14 and leave this up. So I would have 9 after spending this. Spend 2 of it plus the 5. I would have 7 for Golos. So, and the reason I'm doing it like this is because I want to be able to play a land off my Golos spend. And here, I think I get a Trench Post. Man, he doesn't have spot removal. Stage 8. So my plan is going to be to find a Dark Depths somewhere along the way, since he doesn't appear to have spot removal. Okay. Battle Ball. Star. And so that's why sandbagging the Golos was good, because you can get the play and the spin in the same turn. Search. I'll keep this one. I have a mana. Let's put Sphere down. I don't really feel like Ancient Stirrings here. Okay. So I did mess up in that I don't have draw a card off this up right now. And now he's under pressure because he knows there's a Dark Depths coming, because I have Stage plus Depths, so I have the chance to make a 20/20. But I also have a million billion power in play, so he kind of has to wrath the board and have a Swords to Plowshares. I don't know. I feel like I don't play this matchup right. If anyone has any good insight in how you think I should be playing this, let me know, because I feel like I should be I've said for a long time Cloudpost is super control favored, but I feel like the Bant rec players are starting to figure some stuff out. So I might need some people in my corner teaching me some stuff. I think I have trouble against control decks not giving them credit for cards that they don't have. Like, I could have played this Mirror Battlesphere earlier and tried to pressure a lot harder. That's good. So he's not going to be able to board wipe this turn. So I'm probably going to go in with a big Battle Ball. There's no reason to crack Spheres here. I don't have Blast Zone mana, and I don't have the ability to draw a card off this. Probably mistap somewhere along the way. So that's good. He's scared of the damage from the Battle Ball. Which means he's hoping to find the next Swords to Plowshares for the Dark Depths. So what we're going to do is we're going to punish him for not having a Swords for the Golos. I can spend this Forest here. So here we're going to commit more towards the board without doing anything. I am going to Sylvan Scrying. This is not an inspiring spin. I don't care about that at all, Servo. If I had left Forest up, could I have spun again? So, no, I don't think so. Freestar. I'm going to hit with all of these. I'm going to have to use one of these on his turn. I don't want to tap that one. I just want to see some more cards to see what I'm working with. I also want to make a land drop at some point this turn. Preferably a Trench Ghost, because he appears to be afraid of those. Stages are pretty good. Stirrings. So I could get a stage down and try to start blast zoning up, but I think I'm going to get this layer down. And Blast Zone needs to go to 4. I can use one of these now. Not the stage, though. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 down 4. I am not going to draw a card off Endbringer. I want to hit for 5 damage. So we're going to burn the mana. So now we are crunching in for, what, 11? 5, 8, 12? Putting him to 13. Endbringer is going to shoot him down to 12, so this will be potentially lethal next turn. We're also going to threaten to make a 20/20, and we have an active Lair of the Hydra, which is going to attack as a big creature. Additionally, if he goes for a Capsize, I can make Cloudpost mana, crack Star for green, and then crop rotate whatever he targets. I think this will just be shooting him. Yeah, I think I'll shoot him. This is good. We like to see that. Notably, if I had brought in... Pit of Offerings. I could have maybe Pit of Offerings his Memory Deluges or his Uro. So maybe if we do go to a game 3, we try that. Although I will say, with my Moto skills, I don't think I'm going to be able to win game 3. I will probably time out. I am going to attempt to make a 2020. I think right now. Will he activate Study? Oops. I will keep this one. So now we're going to find out if he has Blessed Respites. He may not be on them. The way he's acting scared of Trench Post makes me think he's not on them. He does have a Swords. But we are still representing lethal here. I don't have a Sajiri Step to crop rotate for. That doesn't make sense in this deck, so... Yeah, I'm definitely going to time out if we go to a game 3. It is very good for him to not have Capsize here. It is unfortunate that I just bend my Blast Zone. That could have been a mistake, but I'm hoping that either he loses his Capsize for the rest of the game, or he's not able to defend from enough stuff. And now we're going to get the Trench Post, and we're going to switch to that game plan. Capsize fizzles, which is good. So he's got Colonnade and Castle Ardenvale. Colonnade's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He doesn't have both up. So let's say he Colonnades and blocks this. He's taking 3, 7. So if he just has Colonnade, how big of a Lair of the Hydra do we have to make? I kind of want to get the stage in play to start trench posting more. But I don't know if I have the mana. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This. So let's get some data first. Let's see what we're getting. Yeah. I might time out this game, Lord. Battle Ball, we're going to play post-combat. I think we play the stage then. And then if he blocks here, he's taking 7, so we need this to be for 5. Green. Done. So we should be beating 1 blocker right now. Let's see if he has additional stuff. Oh, I kind of gotta go to the bathroom. This is just like real event magic. And I know I'm going to take heat from people for playing slow. I did make some slow decisions here. I am also slow on Magic Online, but I have historically gotten quite a few draws, and I do take some heat for that. Luckily, I'm tough and scrappy, and I can take it from the community. I love to see you Flashback Memory Deluge. You have to get a Fog here, right? Okay. I am going to stop the recording and go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. So, I don't actually think he's on Blessed Respites. If he was, he probably would have seen one by then, so we're not going to do this. Which means the deck... I'll bring in 1 pit. And I'm not going to throne this game, I think. So I don't think I'm going to be able to close this out. I think I'm going to time out. But I am going to attempt to do like a fast Dark Depths or something. Because I could just concede the match, but... Alright. Cloudpost, Glimmerpost, we keep. I may not have my same standard high level of commentary this game. But let's see how we can do. I do know Moto stops a little bit. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Can I crop rotate? Or are we trying... What are we trying to do here? I think we need to crop rotate this Glimmerpost into a Cloudpost. Which means we do this. I think we actually do it right now. No spell pierce? Okay. So we'll figure it out. We have green mana here to figure out the rest. This gives us a chance to have a strong turn. Oh, I was supposed to go for... Okay. Have nothing. He missed a land. Have nothing. Have nothing. Alright, I'll see you next turn, buddy. Maybe he just kept a stinker. You know, we got 2 minutes to hit him with that. And if not, we'll make it 2020. Woohoo! I just gotta not skip an attack step. Does he have swords? That doesn't mean he doesn't have swords to plowshares. It's just more mana efficient to do that, and he's trying to hit a land drop. This does attack for 12 damage. Okay. Alright, so now we go for a Dark Depths. I see. Can we do it all? So if I play Sphere here, then I have 3, 6... 6 mana to double crop rotate, which is fine. Then 4 mana floating. I think we can do it. So I have 6 mana. Alright, I haven't really done the math. We're going to try to get him with the 2020. So we need to not draw Dark Depths here. Whew. Thought it was stage and not depths. We also need him to not have anything. Weirdly, this is fine. Oh, no, it's not fine, because we're not going to have mana anymore. Fuck. I should not have done that. Still getting it. It is our best chance to win this on Moto. Attacking with his mirror doesn't matter. If he has stone, nothing. So next turn we play stage. I don't have time for that. Crack your clue. We're down 1 swords. insane if this works. He's going to discard? It means he doesn't have a swords. I've never gone to time in my life, Servo. No. Yeah? I'm not winning the game if this doesn't work. Big dog. Oh, that was a barn burner, buddy.
Fucking 19 seconds on the clock, some horseshit bullshit.
I've never gone the time of my life. I've never had a draw.
I literally looked at that handful of 2 lands and like 5 drops and went, he can't kill me in 3 minutes.
Oh man, that was a tough match.
Yeah, that was fun. I like that one.
Oh man, yeah, game 2 was tough. There's a lot to grind through as well. Those capsizes, man. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's getting harder. Bant Rec is not the free win it used to be.
No.
Are you not on any copies of Blessed Respite?
No, 0.
That's crazy. Oh, we are recording right now. Yeah, I never really went for like the trench post plan, but at some point in game 2, I kind of started to realize that you were scared of trench posts, so you weren't on Blessed. So maybe that would have changed some of how I sequenced. I don't know.
I mean, arguably there should be some in the list, but I think this list might be a little outdated.
That's fair. I mean, I also think you can kind of do whatever you want with Bant Rec. Like, there's room for personal preference. And
Yeah,
if a person doesn't want to go like the super sludgy route with the Blessed Respites, it's like kind of okay.
Or like if you know that a Cloudpost player is going to be there, you could just throw one in.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, I'm going to pause this match recording, and then we'll see you for the next round. All right, I'm still not over that round 2, but we're jumping into round 3 against my buddy Heidel. He is known for playing fairly unfair stuff. On the play, you Ancient Stirrings into land number 2. I don't like it. We can do better. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I do think that this deck mulligans pretty well. Just because you can do a lot with a fairly low land count, although we do like to have a lot of lands in play. And you have Gigantha to kind of like be free card advantage. Don't show me a cantrip. Okay. Okay, buddy. Is this a winnable matchup? So he's playing Restore Balance, which plays 4 copies of Restore Balance and 1 Balance, and a bunch of Cascaders, maybe 8 to hit them. How can I win? Okay, so like if I Cloudpost, how do I win? I O-stone him off of his mana when he doesn't expect it? If I rip untapped post, it's 7. And then I get balanced. I don't know if this is a winnable matchup. This could be like a 80-20 matchup, quite frankly. I'm going to think for a second longer. I could just hope he doesn't have it. Okay, that's a fine plan. This is not good. This is not a good matchup. That's good, though. The boys need to keep me in my place. Greater Garganon so he can sack all of his lands when he does balance. He doesn't have another border post in his hand. Better lucky than good, my grandma always used to say. And the thing is, I could just get balance next turn if he has Greenland. I don't know if he has another mana source. He plays like 10 basics. I might get to crunch in with this. So next turn, he'll have Shardless Agent or Violent Outburst up. So I don't play another land. I don't buy Giganta. Doesn't mean anything that he played that land. The good news is he may have a Brazen Borrower here, which would not be the good news. I should. This should be a 2-turn clock. So if I get balanced, it's really bad. Play this. Would I like to exchange this Sylvan Scrying for another Cloudpost? If I'm getting balanced. Yes. No? I don't know. I would keep a Cloudpost. And he would lose more cards. Let's do it. I don't know. Cloudpost. So he untaps, he goes to 6 cards. He balances me. I keep Cloudpost. He goes to 3 cards. No, he gets the Greater Gargan on his land. Because he's got this bad boy. Alternatively, I could have not cast Sylvan Scrying, played Forest, and I didn't have to play Forest. I could have just held up Fate Counter on Battle Ball. That doesn't make sense, because if the Battle Ball sticks around, he's dead. He's not immediately balancing me. I didn't think we were going to win that game 3 against Bant Rec, so maybe everybody's on my side today. If you have it, you do it. Okay. So for those of you who aren't familiar, this is a Cascade deck that's designed in such a way that the only thing you can hit is actual factual balance or restore balance. Sacrifice all lands you control. Yeah, that's fair. Then we'll sacrifice all of our creatures. Yep. Thank you, done button. He will discard down to 3, which is nice. This is the titular restore balance. And now I just have to hope we can assemble mana plus threat again. So if we rip Cloudpost off the top, or Forest into Explore Cloudpost, this could be okay. We do have 5 mana O-Stone to pop, which is good because his main win condition, as much as there is one, is 4 copies of Minsk and Boo, the 4 mana Planeswalker. Big draw step here. Stinky. We might get balanced again, but I don't think we have anything to do. Because now we're hoping to draw untapped land and Thespian stage our Cloudpost. Man, why did it take him so long to Shardless Agent me on that turn? You're dead on board if you don't Shardless Agent. You just cast the spell, buddy. If I rip untapped, like if I rip a Glimmer Post, then I have an O-Stone activation up, which can clear out some of his mana, and I can be the mana destruction deck. So the annoying thing is I have to play this and not crack it. Because if I crack it, I can't cast my Explorer. And it appears casting my Explorer would be good. So I'm going to save this as a green source and try to explore next turn, because it'll be mana neutral. Brain Surge. Alright, things are going to get bad. We are going to have 2 draw steps to naturally find an untapped Locus, which would let us O-Stone away his Minskin Boo if he plays one. Although he doesn't have very many basics. I think he has 11. So he probably has another Border Post as his mana source, which I believe will enter tapped. Yep, so we're not getting Minskin Booed this turn, which is nice. So I will say one thing about this format is that there are so many diverse decks that occasionally you end up in what is kind of a ships in the night situation, where you're doing such vastly different strategies it feels like there's not much you can do to interact. I don't think this is necessarily one of those. It's not Minskin Boo. Why is he doing this now? Explain yourself. Post-combat. So you're just going to balance me into... Make green mana. Was that right? Yeah, because I didn't have a land in my hand. I didn't know it was the top card. Choose and discard the rest. So he just didn't want me to have a chance to O-Stone his mana, I think. Okay. In the grand scheme of top decks, that was relatively good. So like I was saying, there are a lot of matchups that feel a little bit ships in the 90 on paper, but when you actually play them, I think you find that there's a little bit more... You can Gargadon me this turn. There's a little bit more play than you might expect. I remember I played Green-White Glacial Chasm Depths against Hypergenesis in one of our premier tournaments a while back, and I assumed it would be like nothing, but it was actually kind of an interesting tournament because he would it was an interesting match because he would Hypergenesis, and I could put in like Dark Depths combo, or I could put in Glacial Chasm plus 3 lands. So it ended up being a pretty fun match in a way that I wouldn't have expected. I am getting Gargadoned. That's alright. I had two pretty good matchups earlier, so I do kind of deserve this. I think if I don't draw a Glimmer Post here, I will die. 2 draw steps for Glimmer Post or Crop Rotation. Please, just let me draw my card, please. We can still draw Glimmer Post and not be dead. We are dead. Okay. So I think O-Stoning his mana is the only thing we can really do to interact. We could try to massively drop our curve and get a Scavenging Ooze down after we get balanced twice. So the thing about Battlesphere is we can cast them on turn 3 and theoretically win in 2 shots if he has a slow hand. I guess Endbringer doesn't really do that. So we can try this for a low resource post-balance game. But I need that O-Stone. Not feeling inspired on this one. Fast Dark Depths could do it. I think we can make a 20/20 on turn 3 if we explore on 2. Okay. No obvious access to a Cloudpost, no static green mana, and too much fat. Um, we would put Forest back. Go Trench Post, Chromatic Sphere. Yeah, this is the kind of hand that can theoretically do something. So Cloudpost, and then turn 3, Forest Crop Rotation. For a Locust gives us 7 mana on turn 3. Keep an Ancient Stirrings. I'm not saying it's pretty. I'm just saying if we draw exactly Mirror Battlesphere and he has a bad hand, maybe we get there. This was a good example of how deep you can mull for like a strong hand. We had hands that had like combinations of lands and spells early on, but they were clearly not going to do what we need them to do in this matchup. This at least gives us an out to potentially Dark Depths him. And we also have a chance to draw. We have a chance to make a powerful turn 3 play. I miss Pest Infestation. I used to have that card. So we don't have a powerful turn 3 play. We have to start Ancient Stirrings, and I would like to see O-Stone here. If I take Dark Depths, next turn I play Dark Depths, then I Crop Rotation Forest for a Thespian Stage. There's so many ways it goes wrong. And he gets a heads up that this is my plan. But I think that this matchup is so cursed, this is maybe the best we can do. The problem is, he could balance this turn. Okay. Do that. Yeah, I don't think this is winnable ever. I think he has to have a very non-functional draw. That's alright, though. I like that both these decks exist in this format. I think it's pretty cool that they both get to exist side by side. And they get to target and prey on very, very different strategies. So Dark Depths is the only way I can ever win this game. If I play the Dark Depths now and it gets balanced, I'm dead. But I guess now I've shown him Stage Depths. I don't know, man. Not a lot of hope. I mean, he could just not have another balance. So I play this, and I have to rip untapped land or Cloudpost next turn. So Cloudpost would be okay for making a 2020. And untapped land would be okay for making a 2020. He could post-combat balance me, so going to attacks doesn't mean anything. am already to the point where I lose if I get balanced here. So I just need him to not have it. It was a little unfortunate that was tapped, but not a lot to be done. He could also have Brazen Borrower to not die to the 2020, which is a little bit unfortunate. It's fine, that doesn't change anything. He could upgrade his Shardless Agent to a Gargadon here. But that would just mean he's not representing... Am I getting balanced? I will concede to a balance. Yeah, okay. Alright, not the ideal matchup. I think this is up there with High Tide on pretty unwinnable. And I guess this is less winnable than High Tide. I do feel that most of the other Cloudpost matchups are pretty good. So, in this 3-round league, we went 2-1. I will probably be doing more of these simulated leagues later. I'll probably talk about them in the intro, but we do run Magic Online events as well, so if you do want to play some, I guess these guys are playing Value Vintage right now. I actually don't know who these people are. So yeah, there is open play, as well as... What are they playing? Oh, it's not Value Vintage. I lied. Get me out of here. We do open play as well as Moto Leagues. So thanks for watching. I'm going to try to make some more content. So keep your eyes on the YouTube channel. Be sure to like and subscribe so you see all the content when it comes out. And thanks for watching.